everybody! Welcome to Loch Briar Knits. I'm Kelly, your hostess, and this is episode 130, I think. So as you can see, we've gone a little retro with the background. I'm down in the room where I started podcasting. I felt like doing things a little different, and the lighting down here is a little better today. So I moved things down here, and you know what? I gotta say, I kind of like it. I kind of like it down here, I think. I don't know. We'll switch it up. I can go wherever. So not last episode, but I think the episode before that, I had mentioned that it was the podcast's birthday. So I have been podcasting now for 6 years, so we're going into the 7th, and I said we should do something to celebrate, and then I forgot. So what we're going to do is have a little celebration, and I'm not going to say the G word because then all the spam bots like to jump in and have their little say. So I have a skein of yarn. This is one that I don't put in the shop too often. I am the dyer behind Loch Briar Knits yarn. This is called Nova Scotia Spring, which has some blue, some green, some gray, because that's kind of what we get in springtime. I think it's focusing there. So I have a skein of that, and I have a few other little extras that I'm going to throw in. What we're going to do is don't put the word in your answers below, and hopefully that will keep the spam bots away. I will announce it on the next episode. So I need to come up with a question, which of course I didn't think of beforehand. How about you just down in the comments below what your favorite season is and why, and what you like to knit for that season. How's that? I think that's a pretty good one. So for now, let's jump into the podcast. I have a finished object. I have finally finished my socks. I think this was one of the longest pair of socks it took me to knit. And nothing to do with the socks, just me. I think I just lost a little of my sock knitting mojo. I got sucked into some other projects, and these kind of got put by the wayside. This is knit out of Fleece Artist in their National Parks colorway, the one for Quebec, which I always forget the name of. It begins with an F and I can't pronounce it properly, but I will put it in the notes down below. But look at the colors. Is it focusing? I'm using cinematic mode again. I kind of liked how it looked the last time. So, but it's like these beautiful purples and blues. I have cast on a new pair of socks because as soon as I get one off the needles, I cast the other one on right away. But literally the only thing I have done is the cast on edge, and I'm doing that one out of the Knit Picks Felici yarn in the colorway Secret Garden. So I will have something to show for those next episode. That is the one finished object we have, but I do have a half-finished object, which has totally taken over my knitting time. And I am going to show you that last. But I did manage to get some work done. And I was actually working on this morning too, because I thought, I just need to get some work done on it. This is my second classic sweater by Espace Tricot. It's a free pattern by them. It is one of my favorite sweater patterns I have ever knit. Make sure I'm getting, this is the back. Okay, wait, turning. Here's what I have done so far. I'm gonna try to get that all in the frame. Okay, I think I got it. So this is how much I have done. Now, what I am doing with this one is I am knitting it a size smaller than my original, and I'll put up somewhere here, probably over here, my first one. So I'm knitting this out of Illimani Echo Llama. Illimani Echo Llama, I believe this is their caramel colorway. This is kind of the fingering weight color, and then this is the mohair added to it, which is Good Fibrations in Spring Frost. And I absolutely love them. This is what they look like on the up there. I think that's showing it. So this is what the two colors look like blended together, and they're beautiful. So the reason that I did a size smaller, I love how my first one fits. So when I knitted a second one, I just wanted to, like, the first one is nice and flowy, the way it was kind of, you know, made to be worn. So for this one, I wanted to do a bit of a tighter fit. And I was also going to do, in the instructions, they have the neckline to knit it for 4 inches, which I think would probably make it about like that longish. Anyways, I did about 6 inches. So I made it a little longer like I did with my first one. I was originally going to make it for the shorter length, but I just really liked how the neck fit on the other one. It was nice and cozy, like it kind of comes right up to about here, and then it just kind of fits nice and loose, but it doesn't really flute down like over itself, which I like. So I have finished the raglan increases. So let's get a nice little raglan. I hope that's focusing. That's the problem. I have to get my face out of the way in order to see if it's focusing, and then I can't see if it's focusing. And now I'm just in the body. I have one of my stitch markers that I purchased from an Etsy shop. She's from PEI, and I think it was called Gentle Island something, but I'll put her link down below as well. I had mentioned her in the last episode too. I've got like about this much done on the body, and I'm going to knit it. I may knit it an inch or two shorter than the original, like than what the pattern calls for, just so that I have the same basic structure, but I have it a little shorter, so it's a little variation, you know, same sweater, just a little variation on the theme. But I am really enjoying this knit, especially now that I'm on Body Island. Like, sometimes you just need that mindless knit where you can just go. And I keep telling myself, you know, I'd like to tackle something a little more difficult. But I have to say, at the end of the day, which is usually when I get home from work and supper's all done and the dishes put away, I have about an hour to knit. And I am usually at that point kind of like brain dead from the work day. I usually start my day pretty early. I get up at 5:30. I take the dog for a walk. Then I rush down to the, you know, I shower first. Then I rush down to the coffee shop and I write for an hour, which is my other job. I'm an author. Then I rush home, grab my stuff for work because I also have a day job. Then I go to work, and then I come home, you know, my husband and I will make supper. Then I have about an hour-ish, maybe a little more, depending on how fast we can get supper done and out of the way, before I kind of join him downstairs, and then we'll watch TV for maybe like an hour and a half and just hang out. Go to bed and do it all over again. Through the week, my knitting time is about like an hour to an hour and a half max. At the end of the workday, and after all the rushing around of the day, I really want something that isn't going to tax my brain too much. Socks are good for, you know, that, and just kind of Body Island, and also the new project I'm working on that I am totally hooked on, and I'm going to make many more, which I'll show you now. So This has been getting some love. I may do an hour on this today because it's a good thing about the weekends. Oh, also what I'm wearing my, I think it's called either the Pebble Bay or the Pebble Cove Raglan. It's by Marie Green and it's in her book, Sweater in 2 Weeks. I wonder if I have that down here. I don't think I do. I think that one's upstairs. And I did manage to knit this in 2 weeks. We did a knit along, I think it was probably 2 years ago, and we had the knit along going for 2 months, and the goal was to try to knit a sweater in 2 weeks, or as close to that as you could get, which is why we had it open for 2 months. And you could kind of start at any point during the 2 months. And so we had a good time. There was a lot of us that actually managed to get the stuff done in 2 weeks. And there was one individual who I think got 2 sweaters done. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. So if you guys are interested in doing that again, maybe we'll look at doing that in the fall, maybe like for a September knit along. But if you're interested, just drop me a note below and we'll resurrect the 2 sweaters or 2 sweaters. I mean, you can do 2 sweaters. I managed one. The sweater in 2 weeks knit along. So that is the classic sweater. And when we did the knit along, you could do any sweater you wanted. I did the one out of the book by Marie Green because I figured if she's telling me I can do it in 2 weeks, there's probably a better chance of me knowing I can do it in 2 weeks than if I took a random sweater that ended up being more complicated. And this was knit out of, I think this was it, Andean DK wool by Estelle. But I have this in a nice forest green. I just, oh. Flying yarn. I know it's probably in here. Oh, look at that. Oh, I forgot I had these. I have a whole bunch of Illimani Santee, which is 45% ultrafine merino, 25% baby alpaca, 15% yak, 15% mulberry silk. And this is 137 yards, 125 meters per skein. These are the colors I have. And you know what? I just had an idea for these. The reason I was digging in here was to show you. I know where it is. I know where it is. There it is. This is this yarn, but in the green. And the green colorway is called 54906. But it's this beautiful kind of forest green color. And I'm really tempted to do this sweater again because it turned out so well. This, I think, I'm going to make another one of these out of. So now that I remember where I put it. But I'm just going to set this here for a minute and I will show you my newest project, which is the Saturday Shrug by Jackie Rose of Caddy Jack Knits. So I started this last weekend and I'm totally addicted. I am a little more than the halfway point. So here's what I did. I started off with 12 rows and I was going to do 5 colors, 12 rows each. But then for some reason I did 10. Was doing 10 rows. So when I got up to here finishing this, I realized I had only done 10 rows. So in order to get the amount of rows you need for the pattern, which I think is 120, and to keep the kind of color pattern I had going without having to triple some of the colors, I had to add in another color. So then I went and got this color here, and I'm really glad I did because I think it makes a beautiful blend. So let me see if I can get this in. So here is what, I'm gonna set that there. So I am making this out of, I'm almost done my first ball of mohair. So the yarn is all worsted weight, and then you combine it with a mohair, and that kind of gives you, I guess it'll give you a bulky weight, I believe. This color is by Sugarbush in their Shanty base. Some of the ball things are missing because somebody, and I'm not saying who, Scout, ate them. This is, no, this is for the green one. I'm not entirely sure the name of the red one. No, wait, I think I found it. There we go. So, no, that's not it. So the Sugarbush, this is, I think I want to say mulberry, but I feel like that's wrong. But it's this beautiful kind of red, but it's got these pops of like white going through it. And the yarn is made out of superwash merino and 25% linen. It's probably the linen that's kind of making the little white flecks through it, but it's a beautiful yarn. Now the second color was this one, which is Earth. Unique Worsted by Earth. It's extra fine superwash merino, hand dyed in Turkey by Earth Yarns. It is Cocoa Nibs is the colorway. That is the, there we go. So that's the second colorway. That's the only kind of variegated one I have in there. And then, what's next? Oh yeah, then the green Sugarbush Shanty. And this is in the Mossy, where to go now? Mossy Trail colorway. And that's the same, it's superwash merino and linen blend. One thing originally I was like, I thought there would be a bit more of a contrast between these two colors. Oop. But there's not a huge one, and had I to do it over again, I would probably have switched this color with this color. But at the same time, I love how it looked. And then we had the gold. This one is Barocco Vintage. This one might be the one the dog ran off with. I think it is. So this is just like this beautiful gold, really nice, rich gold color. After the gold is the blue. And this is Juniper Moon in their Harriet base, and this is Laguna Grande. So that's the blue. And then this one, which was the Barocco Vintage again, and this is in their Oats colorway. So this was the one I added once I had done one round of the original colors. Then I am mixing it with a Loft Mohair, and this is the color P865. Color name, oh. So this is the Mohair. I'm a little more than halfway through, so I have another round. I've started the red, and then I have another round of colors. But I gotta tell you, this is so addictive that once I start, it's like, it's the stripes. It's like one more stripe, one more stripe, one more stripe. I do find that when I get home, this is just the perfect thing to pick up. This, or now the body of the sweater. Because I just want to knit. I just want to knit without thinking. I want to relax, watch a podcast, and knit without having to pay a lot of attention to pattern, like flipping around pattern wise. This is just a 1x1 rib. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Now, because I said I will be making more than one, my next one, here's the thing. I just noticed there's a Sunday shrug, and that one I believe is, I think, like a chunky. So I'm not big on chunky, and I thought, it'd be nice if there was like a DK version as well, because I have plenty of single skein DK or I could do like a fingering mixed with mohair DK. So one thing that I might do is just do a straight up DK and do these. So these are DK. So I may So this, I think, is the way I will do it for the striping. Green, gray, kind of purpley, kind of mauvey pink, or sorry, dark blue, gray, and then the mauvey pink. I think I will make myself a DK one with this, but without adding the mohair in, or I may add the mohair in and just make another kind of like heavier weight, like worsted weight one like I'm doing now. Actually, this isn't worsted, that's bulky. So if I take the DK, so maybe the Friday shrug is DK weight, because I think actually now that I'm thinking about it, I think it had 2 fingering weight mixed with a mohair, which would be worsted. So if I take this mixed with mohair and do worsted, that'll give me a worsted. This felt like it was a more complicated explanation than what's required. But this is definitely one I think I will do next. I also have I have 5 skeins of this Quince & Co. Willet, 160 yards per 50 grams, 146 meters. So that would be like 320. So that would be kind of like a sport to DK weight maybe. So I may do like a summer one out of this, because I've got like 5 skeins, so that's going to be more than enough. And I was kind of trying to figure out what to do with this, because I'm not huge on knitting with cotton. I used to be get the Quince & Co. quarterly, so this it was like a surprise every month, obviously, what it was gonna be. So that was part of it. So I still have that kind of kicking around. I canceled it because I found that I don't think I didn't use any of the patterns, and I didn't use, I think, the majority of the yarns. And it's not because they're not beautiful yarns. They are, but for one reason or another, I just never used them. I think I destashed some of them, and then the ones that I just really like, either really like the color, which I do like that color, and I really like, it's such a soft cotton that I thought I think I might enjoy working with this. The other thing is I could stripe it, and I could put it with the Illimani, this here, like the Illimani Sabri, which is their cotton base, and maybe do a summer one, and I could marl the two together. So that's an idea. Anyway, I am addicted. I am literally addicted. I want to do all of the Friday and Saturday shrugs. I do think this is going to be my next one. So that is pretty much everything. Not a whole lot of life news. I got the edits back on my book, so I have started working on that. I am determined to figure out a workout regimen to get back into, because I just need to move my body. I need to move my body. I definitely need to figure out a way of where I'm going to fit in my yoga, because I would like to do at least 20 minutes of yoga 5 days a week minimum, because I just find that just stretches you, and 20 minutes I can find surely 20 minutes out of my day, even if it's before I go to bed, which would be actually very relaxing. So maybe I can do that. But I also need to get to the gym and start lifting weights again, operating right now under the use it or lose it principle. So I used to go to the gym every lunch hour through the week for an hour. And then, of course, the pandemic hit and our office moved. Our office used to be like literally right across the street from my gym. I go to Good Life, and there was a Good Life right across the street. Now there's a Good Life, a 5-minute drive down the road from my office. But I was finding that I did start going there, but I was finding that by the time I drove down, got changed, got out there, I only had like 30 minutes to do a workout. And in my head, I was just like, well, that's not enough time because I'm used to doing an hour. But I thought, well, it is enough time if you break it down. Like, you know, this day I'll focus on biceps and core, or this day I'll focus on balance moves. This day I'll focus on this moves, and I'll do it for half an hour and then go back to the office. So I think I just need to look at it a different way and not do it because I don't have a full hour. That's kind of what I want to look at doing this weekend, kind of over the next week, is building in a program. I think my dad's doing his last chemo next week. So I had planned on starting back, and then I didn't want to start back and be at the gym in case I picked anything up and then handed it off to him, because you have to be careful with that when they're getting chemo. And then now that he's finishing that up, so that won't be as much of a concern, then I have no excuse. I mean, I have no excuse. That's kind of what I'm going to be working on. Lucille here has been woefully neglected. I wanted to kind of watch some more spinning how-tos because there's some things I'm just not grasping. I need to kind of wrap my head around it. But last week was just so insane. I had no time to watch hardly anything. And by the end of the day, I was just so tired. I wasn't absorbing information. So I want to watch a few more tutorials and just kind of get a better sense. See if I can figure out what I'm doing wrong. Because I'm allowing too much fiber to get pulled in. And I just have to figure out kind of how to get like an even flow going and how to sort of parse the fiber out so it's not like this big chunk going through. And then I think what I'm going to do is take Mimi up on her offer as well to give me a hand with some lessons, because I think for me, for learning, the hands-on lesson is going to be much more effective than watching tutorials, just because I'm a more tactile, like I learn by doing. But if I don't know what I'm doing, then I'm not learning properly. Does that make sense? I don't know. Anyway, that's the plan. So Lucille is still here. I may give it a few more shots before I hit Mimi up and take her up on some lessons. I'll have to figure out how I'm going to get my wheel over to the loop, because parking near the loop could be a bit of a challenge because it's right in downtown Halifax. So for now, I'm going to let you guys go, and I hope you have a great weekend. It is sunny here right now, but it is kind of cold. I think it's like -2 or whatever, and windy. So I think that's it. We'll wrap this up, and I'll get this edited and put up on the YouTube channel tomorrow, Saturday, March 25th, maybe. I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna get to work on my knitting and get this edited, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.